We're there.
I'm just making notes.
We're live now on
TikTok?
YouTube
or
and
on
TikTok.
everywhere. Oh, everywhere. Yeah. Hey. All right. Tuesday, beginning of March. Happy spring. March 3rd. Welcome to the Maple Minds podcast. I'm Christy. That's Rob and Polly. We're just here to trade opinions about what's happening in politics and the news. Obviously, we're starting with what happened in Iran, obviously. Like, it's just so obviously the hugest news. I don't even know where to start. Where do you want to start?
I don't even know where to start. I mean, we've seen this program before. Like, I mean, we've seen this movie. Like, we've seen, like, I mean, it's nothing
Weapons
new.
of mass destruction.
I don't believe
The United States and Israel are attacking Iran. Like, what's new? I mean, there's nothing new. It's just, this has been going on for so long, and it keeps happening. And I don't know, like, what do you believe? At the end of the day, the last time the United States bombed Iran, they bombed all these nuclear sites and they just destroyed them all. And then, yeah, we got them. And now it's like, no, wait a second, we got to go back. It's kind of like, come on, guys. Like, we know it's a game. Like, at this point, it's a game, and it's sad to watch. These are people's lives we're talking about.
Yeah.
And I think, since, I don't know what, 60 years ago, 50 years ago, 40 or whatever it was.
47.
And since the United States has been meddling in the Middle East, I mean, it keeps happening, and I don't understand why people haven't learned their lesson by now. I mean, you're effectively trying to go in there. Now you're saying you want a regime change. Now, like,
no, he's saying he doesn't want a regime change. He's
oh,
saying
no?
that's not the objective. They're like, hope it happens. Hope that the people of Iran can make it happen. But no, that's not our objective. Our objective is to make sure that they're demilitarized, even though they didn't say that they found any weapons there. Here's what's going on. Marco Rubio, and I was telling Polly before we went live, I made a whole video about Marco Rubio's statements to the media yesterday versus today. He's altered the story somewhat. And I did this whole video about it and edited it, put captions on, put my little text on and everything. Go to upload it. It takes a while to upload. When it did, my video was gone. I have no idea what happened to all the takes where I was in there talking. It just showed one of the clips. It was super, super weird. Anyway, I think the app's out to sabotage me to stop talking about how Marco Rubio's pants are on fire, because they are. So this guy yesterday told the public that the imminent threat that they were facing was that they knew that Iran would strike back if they were struck by anybody, and that they knew that Israel was going to strike them. So story number one was, okay, the threat was retaliation for something that Israel's going to do. And then a whole bunch of people went, oh, look how weak Trump is if he's letting Netanyahu call the shots here. And so Trump's like, no, that's not what happened. I forced Israel's hand, maybe. So then Rubio comes out today. He's like, no, that's not what I said. I said that it was all about timing and why we had to do it as a joint venture. Yeah. The timing was Israel was going to do it anyways. So we had to jump in because we were going to take shit for it anyways. I think it's very interesting, the changing of the story. I think that they are ill prepared. I think that they thought this was going to be easy. I think they thought this was going to be quick, like Venezuela was. I think it's Iran. I think there's a big difference between Iran and Venezuela. I think that they are now preparing for something long. The language that Trump's using in his post about, oh, we have weapons to last forever. This guy who said, no, I'll never get us into a never forever war.
Oh, yeah. Did you see, have you seen all the clips about him in 2020 talking about how Democrats were going to get them in war in the Middle East? And, meanwhile, the infrastructure in the United States is falling, everything's falling apart in the US, and we're going to sit there and spend all this money on a war in the Middle East and blah, 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 blah. I think it's hilarious watching that stuff. And you just sit there and go, you know, like, I don't get it. I mean, this stuff is forever. Whatever you say on here is forever. So, I mean, I don't know. Like
it feels very video game movie-ish, very two-dimensional, very, this isn't going to touch me in the real world. It's just something that I see on my screen. These are real people who die. And these are real people who make the decisions who aren't at risk of dying. These guys that are and changing their story all the fucking time. They're not the ones on the front lines. They're not the ones who are going to lose. It's not their families either, right?
Yeah. Nope. And he has no plan. He has no plan. No plan whatsoever.
Like they have a plan. They don't have a plan. They're screwed. That's why I said, like,
and that's the problem. That's one of the biggest things that are bugging me, is that he has no plan. Like, what happened in Afghanistan? Trump made a deal to hand Afghanistan back over to its people, to the Afghan army, to them, and they were supposed to keep it. Biden takes over. He has to follow through with Afghanistan. He follows through, and the minute the US pulls out, the Taliban come in and take it over. And now it's way worse for women there. They can't even speak. They can't even speak in public. It's almost like anything they touch just
turns to shit.
And well, yeah.
It's like reverse Midas touch.
Well, and it's to a point where they've messed up things so badly there that they're just trying to put putty on all these cracks in these holes in the wall, and you know it's never going to do it. They're never going to be able to repair this.
This is going to take a long time to undo, I think. If it's, I don't even know where it goes after this. I believe strongly that it's going to get worse. There was a lot of reports. They keep talking about, we got them everything. We demolished everything. All of their Navy's gone. Their Air Force is gone. All of their leadership is gone. Well, if all of their leadership is gone, then why is the Strait still closed? Who's calling those shots? Why are there still shots going out? Who's calling those shots if you got all their leadership? Bullshit. I think that they want to appear to be in a stronger position than they are, and I think probably somewhere, even if they're just alone, they're saying, "Oh shit!" They must have realized how bad they fucked up. They must. I hope they do.
I don't know if they ever really do. That's the problem. Is I don't think they ever really think they screwed up. I think they're just oblivious to the world.
I also want to recognize that I understand why the Persian people are cheering and why they're grateful to him for this. I do understand that. I would never disagree with the Persian, even though I disagree with what they're saying their motives are. I understand, not personally, but just from how many conversations that I've had with people who grew up in Iran. I think I understand why they're celebrating so hard. And just because I'm suspicious of their intentions and their motives, I think that's because I'm not emotionally attached to it. But I understand that the relief must be tremendous to have that man not alive anymore.
Yeah.
I think it goes to say in most regimes where leaders are strong arming the people that they're overseeing. I mean, you're going to see that. You're also going to see people that really like that style of leadership. I mean, you sit there and go, you look at that and you say someone comes into the US and does the same thing. You're going to have hundreds of millions of people very excited that, the leadership of the United States is going down. You know what I mean? I don't know. Like, I just see it as being the same thing. Whereas I bet you there's millions upon, millions that are unhappy about what's happening and having the US and Israel come in and bomb their country, right? I mean, it goes both ways. And I think it's the exact same thing. I think it's just you got a group of people that don't like it, and obviously there's probably atrocities that have happened, and like it's not the greatest thing. But it's
I think that's
again, it's the United States. It's the United States going in and making a mess, and they're not going in there. They're not going in there to try to make the world a better place for Iranians. I mean, that's really what it's about. So everyone's all cheering. No, they're bombing your home country, not because they want things to be better for you. They want things to be better for them. And at the end of the day, it's Israel that's probably leading all of this. And the fact that they just can't keep their own missiles in their pockets is ridiculous. I mean, they're just every time they turn around, they're bombing this person and bombing that person. And then the US has to come in and help them. And like it's, I don't know, the whole thing is a mess. It's a mess.
So I did another video today too. And this one actually did get to upload about Putin's remark, or not Putin. Oh my gosh, what a kind of slip was that? About Netanyahu's remarks. I can't keep my bad guys straight. Netanyahu was on Fox. He was on Sean Hannity, and he did a whole interview praising Donald Trump, saying that Donald Trump is the strongest president in the history of presidents, and Donald Trump is fantastic, and there's never been a president like Donald J. Trump. Kind of glazed him a little bit. And he also said, yeah, I've been talking about this for decades. I have been trying to persuade the administrations before this to take a hard line against Iran. I hope Americans are wondering why all the other presidents said, no, that's not a good idea. And then Trump campaigned on, no, that's not a good idea. You know what? You know who thinks that's a good idea? The other lady who's running. Don't vote for her, because if you vote for her, you're going to be at war with Iran. Vote for me, because specifically I will not go to war with Iran. Guess what's happening right now?
Nah, I mean, here's the thing is, for whatever reason, Israel owns the United States. So, I mean, whatever Israel wants, the United States is going to do, Donald Trump is going to do. And that's really what it comes down to it. So, it just sort of shows who's really in control. Like, it really does.
Yep. I think that's why Rubio had to change his story, because yesterday when he said that the threat was retaliation from a strike that they knew was coming from Israel, and today he won't touch that with a 10-foot pole. They even challenged him directly. They said, sir, this is word for word, we're quoting what you said about this. And he's like, yeah, but I was asked another question, and then he just starts talking about how they have to preemptively strike without addressing why they were anticipating the strikes. I don't think that it was very popular with Americans that it appeared that somebody from another country was deciding to go into a war that Donald Trump specifically promised them they would not enter into.
Which is why Netanyahu was kissing Donald Trump's ass.
Giddy.
Like, I mean, that's the thing, right? He knows what he was doing. He knows exactly what he was doing. And the fact that he was getting the United States to have to be involved, and at the end of the day, he starts praising Donald Trump publicly. And then Donald Trump's like, yeah, hey, you leave him alone. He's fine. He's great. He's doing a great job there. Just ridiculous.
Trump said, oh, I've never gotten so many compliments for doing something. No shit. Another thing that Rubio said that I found interesting, which is in my video that didn't happen, which I got to redo. He said the country was at their weakest, so we had to strike, which I found interesting. If your argument is that you had to strike because you were in imminent danger, imminent means it's going to happen right away. Yeah. If their argument was we had to strike because something bad was going to happen right away, and then in the next breath say we recognize that they were at their weakest, so we had to strike. I think maybe imminent danger or imminent threat might be code word for we found an opportunity for something that was perceived to be a threat maybe down the road, because the language that they used, they never said we've confirmed that they have weapons, because don't forget they broadcasted how they had obliterated everything 8 months ago. Don't tell me these guys rebuilt their entire program in 8 months. They just keep saying, oh, they didn't learn their lesson. They didn't learn their lesson. And negotiations weren't going well. So we had to take this drastic action. The drastic action that at first they said, well, we had to take because they were going to shoot back at us because of what Israel was going to do. This is a mess. Poor Americans.
Yeah. Well, now they got to buy our oil for a little bit.
Yeah. So another thing that Rubio said was that they have a plan coming into place, that they met last night, and some different secretaries, Bessent and guys, have a plan to address the rising price of oil, because, oh, don't worry guys, the price of oil will be up just for a little bit, and then once this is all resolved, once we leave there, the price will go back down, maybe even lower than before. First of all, it's not over anytime soon, I don't think. And I think that the blocking of that strait, that's going to jack oil prices. Good for Canada, but bad for the United States for being the ones that did this.
Yeah, I don't remember the last time the Hormuz was actually blocked. Like actually, I know there's been threats of it being blocked, but
do you remember when it was? Do you know of a time that it was blocked?
No, I don't remember. Like I don't
either.
I don't know if it ever really has been officially, but I know that there's always threats. There's been threats of it being blocked.
You know what? That's an excellent point. And Rubio kept talking about their Navy, and he kept talking about how their Navy was a threat. Their Navy was a threat. He was talking about, well, we can't let them have nuclear weapons, which he said they had ambitions of getting and intentions of building, but he never said that they had them. But he kept talking about their Navy too. And I think that they were afraid of Iran doing what Iran is doing now and closing it and choking the oil supply. But I think it's fascinating that their argument is, see, this is why we had to look what they're doing now. Look what they're doing after we took out their leader. See, I told you, they would have done that to us first if we didn't take out their leader. I think it's an interesting argument.
Yeah, I find it interesting because it's never been done. Like they've never done anything like that to anybody at any point in time, ever. They've only done it because of the strikes now. I mean, that's just plain and simple. So, I mean,
I'm very interested to see.
It's a game.
I'm very interested to see where this goes. Did you see Carney speak about it?
No, I didn't actually.
Okay, so I didn't either. Polly and I were talking before we went live. He did a speech. He's in Australia right now. And he did a speech where he condemned how they went about it. And I think a lot of people, in his first statement where he said, we support, the United States stopping them from getting nuclear or something, a lot of people took that as him saying, I agree with what the United States did. And I was looking at it going, I think it's very carefully worded to say, if that's what they were doing, but you know what I mean? I think it was very carefully worded to say we would support this without saying that we're acknowledging that that's what this is. And today, apparently, like I said, I haven't seen the whole thing, but I saw a little text part of it where apparently he was condemning the way they went about it for not consulting with the UN and not consulting with allies. He said, Canada wasn't consulted. You guys just kind of did this. So I'm looking forward to seeing that tonight over dinner when we're finished this. But
I mean, they didn't even consult Congress.
Yeah.
Like,
so that's something else that Rubio was disputing. He said, "Oh, there was no way to get anything to all 500, and I think there's 535 of them or something, which bullshit, of course there is." Secondly, he said that they did the Gang of Eight. So he's like, that's legally all that we're required to do. He's very insistent that they followed the law on this. I think Congress is going to disagree, especially there's another clip I included in a video that I did yesterday of Congresswoman Anna Paulina Luna. Congress, she said, and I quote, we're not at war. We didn't, Congress didn't vote on war, and we're not going, Congress doesn't support war, and neither does the administration. I think she's wrong. And then a senator said it's the same thing too. Senator Mark Wayne Mullen said, we're not at war because we have not declared war against Iran. And I'm going to argue that Iran probably thinks you're at war and will act accordingly.
I think most of the world thinks they're at war now. I think that's what's in the headlines. You know, U.S. Israel at war with Iran. Like,
I think when you've got Pete Hegseth, the secretary for the Department of War, saying things like "war is hell," I think that you can call it a war, and especially when the president and Pete Hegseth and another ranking member of the military, whose name I forget, they've all said, well, you're going to have some casualties in situations like this. They've lost 6 soldiers so far, or service people so far, I believe. And they all said, we should expect some more. So I think that Rubio talking about the actions that they're taking to address oil prices until they come down, and the other language of, we should expect more casualties. I think that means, oh, hey, we don't think this is going to be over anytime soon.
Yeah, I always think back, especially when it comes to war. I think back, and I think it was, what was it, Henry V, where they're going into a big battle, and he dresses up as just one of the common guys that are going to war the night before, and he's sitting around the fire with them, and everyone's talking. And then some people were talking about, why are we going to war for for this guy or for whatever? It's probably not even a just war and all this sort of stuff. And then someone steps up and basically just says, hey, look, like, we have to trust that this is a just war, and we are going into this, let the blood of the people that die be on his hands if it's not, right? And for me, whenever I think of the war, I always think of that person who's sending these people to war, that the blood of these soldiers that fall are on the hands of the people that send them to war. And only they know, and whoever, whoever else know whether or not this is a just war or not. And if it's not a just war, all the blood of everybody that's spilt in this war is on their hands. 100%.
I agree with you. And I think that the history books will reflect that. And I think that even if they aren't concerned about, let's face it, Trump won't be around much longer for any concern for blood that would be on his hands, but that would transfer to his family, I would hope, for supporting him and for carrying it on. But I agree with you that the blood is 100% in every single inch of their hands. I just don't know that it's a concern for them whatsoever.
No.
I think a lot of that has to do with some dehumanizing that goes into not only the people that you're targeting, but the people that you're sending in to target with them, since you're so willing to have them pay the ultimate price for these decisions.
Yep.
So I'm glad that Carney said something about the way that, because it's just so obvious, especially when, so yesterday there was a whole bunch of clips kind of competing with the we're at war, no, we're not at war. You know what I mean? And there was a lot of change of story, like I talked about with the Rubio story about, whose idea this was and such. So I'm glad that Carney addressed it. But this guy's got to do a real presser. Like, I don't know. And I hope that after the one that I admittedly haven't watched yet, I hope that he took questions from reporters, because he hasn't since February 17th. And that's too long, in my opinion. That is too long for a leader to go and especially, I get it. You're out of town. You're busy. You're doing busy things. Delegate this to somebody then, somebody that you trust to send your message. You can't go this long in times of rapid change, especially with the United States doing what they're doing and them being so close to it. You can't go that long without addressing, Canadians and without taking reporters' questions, in my opinion. What do you think?
I kind of disagree with you. I
There
think,
we go. You know what?
yeah,
We went almost a half an hour without a disagreement. What's up?
I don't think he should even play into any of this. He's got a job to do. He's got a job to do. His job is to make our lives better and our economy better. His job isn't to make us feel better and more cozy and whatever by saying that he disagrees with Trump, what Trump's doing. That's not even the right thing to do right now. His job is to keep doing what he's doing in the background while Trump's playing war games with Iran and Israel and doing all of these things. And he's going to make our economy stronger and better than ever, while that guy below us is just doing stupid things. And I don't want Carney to bring any attention to himself whatsoever. I want him to stay in the shadows. I want him to all of a sudden pop out a month later and go, surprise, we got billions of deals, billions and billions of dollars, and we've now circumvented the United States, Japan, Australia, India, and us have decided on this new massive trade agreement that bypasses the United States. And now we've now got all of the, like, that's what I want to see.
Is he selling cars too, Rob?
Yes.
Gonna pop out.
Yes,
Hey, I got deals. Come to see me.
I got deals coming out of my yin yang.
I don't know. I kind of want reassurance that he's not going to take our Canadian soldiers into that sort of. And have you seen the friendly fire where they shot down where Iraq shot down 3 U.S. jet fighters? Friendly fire.
Yep. Oh yeah. But I mean, here's the thing: is I think the fact that Carney doing what he's doing is basically saying we're staying out of this. We want no part of this whatsoever. And the fact that he's quiet and he's quietly working in the background, check the box, man.
Has he definitively said that though? I don't know. I haven't watched.
He did though. When the day that he put out his statement, he did an interview that day, and they asked him, do you anticipate sending any boots, Canadian boots out there? And he said no, there was no intentions of that. So he did make himself clear on like one interview that he did when he was the day that he had put out his statement, but he hasn't faced like a scrum. He hasn't faced regular questions from the press gallery like he normally would. And if I may go back at your disagreement, I'm not talking about just Trump. So that is one big news grabbing thing, or big, it is a big newsworthy thing happening in Canada, but so is things that are happening on his trip. And I think that not having usual, because this is missed. This is abnormal. It's not like I just want him to talk because things are happening. It is normal for the Prime Minister to face the press and to face questions on a regular basis. And he hasn't done that because of other things. But there's other ways. He has press traveling with him. Mackenzie Gray I can't remember where Mackenzie Gray is from, and who Mr. Gray reports for Global, I think, but don't quote me on it. Mackenzie Gray is on the plane traveling with him and doesn't have any opportunities to ask questions. And I think when you say he's doing his job, I think he's doing part of his job. And the other part is to communicate with his constituents, right? The United States does this through a press secretary. If Mark Carney finds himself too busy because of doing other parts of his job, then delegate somebody, introduce them to Canadians and say, listen, I'm too busy, but you guys need updates, because we need updates. February 17th, come on, that's half a month away.
Yeah. It's not, half a month.
And it's not about a cozy thing. It's about not sticking with the regular program thing, and about how much more important it is to be on the program because people are used to it. It's not that I think that people are like, holy shit, what's Trump doing? Look what's happening over there. What's Carney saying about it? And then they just tune in. I'm suggesting that people are used to getting you regular updates from this guy, and they're looking for them and they're like, hey, where's this guy? That's what I think.
People want us to know that he did answer to the scrum today, just so you know. So we have to go and watch
Excellent. Thank you very, very, very much. I appreciate. Thank you for the comments and whoever commented that. Like I said, I haven't watched the whole thing, but my point is, he went from February 17th until March 3rd without doing it, and I think that that's too long. But I'm very, very happy that he did it today, and I'm very much looking forward to looking at it.
Yeah, I don't see any good coming from people being nosy and wanting to have him say stuff. Here's the thing is, what he's trying to accomplish right now in the Indo-Pacific trade dealings that he's doing, these things are touchy right now. These things need to be held in check, because essentially what they're trying to do is circumvent the United States when it comes to a lot of things. And if the United States really started catching wind of some of the things that they're trying to do, they are going to punish some of these countries, in particular Japan, who's on a very thin line as far as what's going on. And we want these trade negotiations to go through. We want all of these deals with these countries to go through. And we don't want to announce what we're doing. We want to just get it done so that it's done and we can go surprise, because here's part of the problem.
I got sales.
Yeah. Because the problem is, if there are people, especially in the United States, that are seeing exactly what we're trying to do, they have an opportunity to squash it. And here's the other thing is, you've got reporters, all they are wanting so badly is for Carney to go and step up and basically say, we don't agree with Trump and what he's doing in Iran, or, we condemn their actions or whatever. Like, they want news stories, right?
Well, sure, that's not new.
But we don't want that. I don't want that. I don't want anything being called out to Mark Carney. I want him to do his job in the background and get things done without the U.S. going, whoa, wait, what's he doing? I want them to just keep doing what they're doing. Keep doing what you're doing, live in your own world, and we'll go around the back and we're going to make some deals and we're going to come out of this so much better.
Okay. I think you give people way too much credit for the trust that they're going to give a politician. I think you are completely naive to think that the average taxpayer is okay going without any updates, especially when you've got the budget coming out with these big deficits, not just federally but provincially too. That piques people's interest because it's their taxes. People are worried about their taxes going up. People are worried about affordability. People want updates. I think that you can give updates without turning the rock under and showing your opponents what you're hiding. I think you can address what Canadians want you to address without telling any secrets or without tipping off anybody you don't want tipped off for. It's called politics. People do it all the time. But what they can't do is, in my opinion, that you disagree with, is just shut it down and say, because it's not like he's just not doing them. He's actively canceling them. He has press conferences scheduled and then he says, nope, can't do it. So he has people who are expecting an update from the leader of the country who is taking our country in a different direction. You're saying that, okay, well, we should just trust him and not wait for updates and just let him go and do his thing. I'm saying you're naive if you think that people are okay with that. I trust him too.
No, I agree.
To a point. I don't trust him completely where I'm okay with not hearing anything. I want to hear stuff. I want to know where he's at. Even if he's going to give me non-answers, I want him checking in. I do. Especially when he's got press conferences scheduled. I don't think it's okay to cancel them.
I think it's a waste of everyone's time for non-answers. I do. I just think it's ridiculous to have to play a game like that. I think it's ridiculous. I say, do your job. I'm okay with it. And yeah, you know what? Maybe I am naive, to think that most people will think that's okay. And maybe most people don't think it's okay. But I'm just telling you, I don't care what most people think. I personally don't care. I don't want to hear it. I want him to go do his job and then come out of it way better than we were. And I don't want to hear him go blah, 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 blah. I don't want to hear blah, blah, blahs. I don't care. I'd rather hear nothing.
Blah, blah, blahs. I'm saying you can give updates to Canadians without
but not real ones.
Okay, so let's ask, I can't see the comments. Polly can see the comments though. So in the comments, let us know, do you think that the average, because that's not just do you want, but do you think that the average Canadian appreciates regular updates from the Prime Minister? Or do you agree with Rob? You know what? It's a waste of time if he's going to give non-answers or if he's going to be political about it. And it's better to just not have it and to have him put his nose to the grindstone or whatever, that keep his head down and just do his work. Let us know in the comments. Polly, let us know how that goes.
Hold on. You just rephrased your own question for your own personal gain.
I did it.
Yes, you did. I'm talking about this scenario right here with these specific trade talks that are very volatile. And I don't want anyone to, I don't want him announcing all the things that are happening. I want him to stay quiet while this is happening so we can sneakily do this. That's all I'm saying.
But my point
You're making it a generalization.
He hasn't done any press conferences.
Which is fine.
Since February 17th.
Yeah.
He's canceled them. He's had press conferences scheduled and he has canceled them. And you're like,
I'm not talking about like I'm not talking about his entire time in office. I'm not talking about him from now on until he gets reelected. I'm talking about right now in this circumstance that we're in. Okay. I don't need him having to comment on the United States going to war. I don't need him to comment on exactly what he's doing. I want him to just get it done. Okay, I want him to get it done in the shadows. That's all I'm saying.
Okay, it's almost 50-50.
Yeah, there we go.
Yeah.
Nice.
I love it.
It's almost 50-50. Like,
even though it should be 51-49, but
maybe if we had more viewers, Christy.
Maybe. I think that's interesting though, because I was pretty confident that more people, I'll be honest with you, I thought more people were going to go agree with me.
Not all of us are nosy. Not all of us are nosy people that want to know what he had for lunch.
So I don't care. That agreed with me.
Okay, what just happened? I want reassurance that that he's just not going to send Canadians into that mess right now. Like that's what I want. Like I want. I don't. That's.
But I think he's already done that. I think he's already said that. So
yeah. Some people say he could let us know in an email. Some people say they agree with Rob. Some people say,
see, I think having to answer questions is different than just putting out a statement.
Some people say that they think that updates would squash misinformation. That's true. He should be speaking to Canadians. Fran says that. Hi, Fran.
Hey, Fran.
Hey, Fran.
You know what?
Connie agrees with Rob.
I have 51%. I got Fran. Which means I'm right.
Connie agrees with Rob. Connie. Oh, excuse me. Connie says, I agree with Rob. Get the job done.
Yes.
I love it. Hey, we did talk about getting more interactive last show, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so since now we're talking about Canadian politicians in the press, let's move over to Mr. New Leaf, Pierre Poilievre. Another thing I haven't watched in its entirety, and I'm going to, is his Peter Mansbridge interview. Last Friday on the show, I spoke about how he had done this interview with Peter Mansbridge, which is outside of his comfort zone, and his comfort zone is only a select amount of YouTube channels or Rebel News guys that are going to be favorable, National Post. And he said in the Mansbridge interview that, you know what, I'm going to go with anybody who wants an interview with me now, instead of just ones that target a certain audience. And he was, in the clips that I did see, he was a different Pierre. He was asked, do you respect Mr. Carney? And he didn't even skip a beat. He just says, yes, I do respect him, and I know he respects me. That's not the same Pierre Poilievre that we heard in 2024. It's just not the same guy whatsoever. Or early 2025. So I think that he is trying another makeover, which we have talked about again. And now he is over in, I think is he in Berlin now, or he was in the UK, and then he was going to go, and he's meeting with other conservative leaders. which we talked a little bit about his trip. But for me, it's more about how he is going to, again, the press. And I think I give a little bit, I know that I give more importance to the press and to polls than Rob does.
Yeah.
No idea.
For polls, yeah. Honestly, I don't know if I even want to
And
watch
public
that
perception
interview.
in general.
Is it bad that I don't want to even watch the interview with Pierre Poilievre and Peter Manges? But I
Not at
have
all.
to.
Are you kidding
I
me?
mean,
No,
I
that's
have to watch it,
honest.
but I don't want to watch it. I just feel and this whole garbage about how he's offering to go help with trade talks with the United States now. Like, come on, like
We
give
had
it
a
a
whole
rest.
election about that. We already decided who we want to go to the United States
Yeah,
to deal with
yeah.
trade,
Yeah,
right?
and it's not you, Pierre Poilievre. It's not
Yeah.
you. It never has been, and it never will be. Like, enough's enough. Stop playing these stupid games where you're offering to do something that's completely out of your league. Like, it's like, I don't know, some kid who's never played football before offering to play wide receiver for the Dallas Cowboys to help them win a Super Bowl. Like, I mean, this
Yeah.
kid plays water polo. Like, he's never even played football before. What? You think you're going to play in the NFL and help the team go to the Super Bowl? Come on, man.
So I think your answer was very, very honest. So the reason that I'm looking forward to this interview is because I've been watching Pierre so closely for 4 years. I've watched not all of his interviews, and I'll be honest with you, there's a lot that like I'll skip. But I try to watch because I like to because I do consider him to be a threat, in that I don't trust that he doesn't have a relationship with the same people who are driving MAGA. So I want to keep my eye on him. But I recognize also I'm a nerd. I'm a nerd who lives for this kind of thing and for politics. And I always want to know who the guy that I disagree with is coming from. But I think that you're very strong. No, I don't want to watch it. I think that is the majority Canadian reaction. Maybe we're going to get a 50-50 on that too. I don't know. But I think
Maybe,
that
yeah.
most of the time that I think that politics and the way that politicians behave is so distasteful. It is so unpalatable to a lot of people, and they truly do not give me the Coles Notes. I can't listen to this guy, especially I can't listen to this guy for an hour straight on an interview. I honestly believe that the majority of people would agree with you and not nerdy.
Our
And,
chat is like, Connie is like, what's he doing overseas? It won't make a difference. No security clearance. Lori says no security clearance, no impact.
Yeah.
Raven says his speech in London did not land well. And
it didn't land well. I haven't watched that yet either. I have so much catching up to do. Oh,
Ravine,
my real life gets in the way of my political interests. If I'm
Ravine
honest.
says his new international idea is Kanzuk.
Okay, so I know about that.
And then Lori says that was an agreement which came from Carney originally.
Kanzuk is Canada, Canada, New Zealand, Australia, and UK. And he had posted something with what their objectives would be, and they are there's 5 of them. One of them would be like open labor, and another one, and I remember hearing about this. I remember hearing about this idea in around 2019, 2018, I want to say, when I was traveling a lot more, because one of the things was, you wouldn't need a passport to go to some of these, to just these countries. And at that time I was going to
Commonwealth.
New Zealand and Australia. But we're in another alliance. So Kanzuk is not official. Nobody has signed up on it. It's just a proposal at this point. But there is a trading bloc, the TPP, which I've talked about on the show before, the Trans-Pacific Partnership, which those 4 countries are already a part of. And it also excludes the United States, which both of these groups do, which I think is interesting. But it includes other Asian countries like Japan and Singapore, and South American countries like Chile, and it includes Mexico. Anyways, that his proposal, I think, would be on top of TPP, but there is a difference because TPP is signed off. It is an agreement, and Kanzuk isn't. But
Yeah.
I'm curious to see how his speech in London landed, since people are saying it kind of didn't go well. So when they say what's his purpose of this, so here's my opinion. First of all, it's not a taxpayer funded trip, and I just want to reiterate that, because I think a lot of people think that it might be. It is paid for by the Conservative Party. Now, if you're the Conservative Party, what's your return on investment? Why would you take your donation money and send this guy overseas? Well, a couple of things. This guy needs a makeover. This guy is tanking in the polls that Rob doesn't care about. But they are like, they need this guy to gain in popularity. So they think that, I think that by putting him in Carney-like situations and getting him to give speeches and such, that people who like Carney will maybe come back and like him if they do that, if they have him in the right situations. And if you see the posts that they're putting up about him, whoever the photographer is getting great shots of him looking very personable around these very important people, looking very Carney-like, not looking awkward, which I'm sure, great photographer. That's all I'm going to say. And I think for him, I think it does what Christine Anderson, when she visited Canada, I think it does what it kind of helps build the movement. Hey, we have Conservatives, we have like-minded people like you do in this country. Yeah, we got lefties too. I know you do too. I know we disagree with them. I think you gain a lot of similar-minded support, and I think that that's what the Conservatives are up to. Otherwise, they wouldn't have spent the money on it.
I just think it's just a waste of everyone's time. Like, who is this guy? I mean, he's got no power. He's got no authority. He's got nothing. He's just going around for a powwow with other conservative people. Like, I mean,
No
here's a guy.
security clearance.
No security. And here's the funny thing is, I saw that response to a question about a security clearance again, where he says, "Well, then I can't argue whatever, and I can't, talk about this or that." And I'm thinking to myself, if you don't have all the facts, how do you talk about it anyway?
Yeah.
You essentially say, I don't want the facts because I want to just sort of spread my own misinformation and mistruths about whatever I want without knowing what the real facts are. I mean, that's essentially what he's saying.
Plausible deniability.
I want to be able to be like, oh, I never saw that report, but that's, I think it's a joke. I think this guy's a joke. I think the whole thing's a joke. I'm just tired. I'm just tired of hearing him. I'm tired of seeing him. Like, I just want to move on. Like, I just want to move on. And this guy is just making it so hard. Like, he's just sticking around. He's just sticking around.
Listen, like it or not, he is the official leader of sorry, not the official. Well, he is the official, but he is the opposition leader. He is the leader of the Conservative Party, pardon me, which is the opposition. So like it or not, like, a lot of us don't want to hear him anymore. It ain't up to us. And as Carney says, look at the world for what it is, not the way you wish it was.
Yeah. I just look at him as just the biggest loser. Like, I mean, he literally lost the election for his party, and he's still relevant. Like, he's been in government for 20 years. He lost the biggest election in Canadian history up to this point, where this election was so important, and Conservatives were winning, and they were leading, they were doing everything, and he lost it. And he continued to just keep going down and down, and he's still going down and down, and we're still having to listen to him. And I'm like, I don't get it. I don't get it. Nobody likes him except for a small group, a handful of people. And they only like his racist and, rhetoric and misinformation and lies and all that other jazz. So, I mean, that's, I'm done.
Molly, were you
I'm
gonna
done
say
with him.
something? No?
No.
Oh, I thought I heard Polly.
Oh, no.
So I think it's when you talk about when you went on about how he lost his seat, did you see the headline that was in the papers in the UK talking about how the guy who still wants to be prime minister who had united the right and lost his seat. And in the fine print in that, they talked about how he was going to meet with Nigel Farage, who's the Brexit guy. And when I talk about not being comfortable with the relationship that I believe that Pierre has with people behind the MAGA movement, I think it's the same people who are behind the Brexit movement, right? So I think it's very interesting that we found out that he was meeting with him from that article from the UK, because he just said, oh, I'm going to be meeting with businessmen and politicians. And we kind of get that as a conservative politician, he's probably going to be meeting with other conservative politicians. But the first thing in my head was, I'm wondering if he's going to be meeting with the AFD, as Christine Anderson had come to Canada. And I wondered too about Nigel Farage and his role in Brexit. That's another thing that I think that they get as a return on investment. See, when you say, well, I think it's a waste of time because they don't get anything done, I would only agree with you if it's a taxpayer paid visit, because what they're trying to get done is something for the taxpayer, and he doesn't have the power to do that. I don't believe that that's the objective. I think it is paid for by the Conservative Party to get things done for the Conservative Party. I don't think it's to get things done for Canadians.
Yeah, fair enough. Yeah, I see it.
Do you agree with me?
I do agree with you with that. Yeah.
Yay.
I was being overly dramatic when I was saying there's no reason for him to be there.
Oh, the drama. Okay, we got about like a little less than 10 minutes left. Speaking of drama, let's get into BC politics a little bit before we go, because we're from BC and there's a lot of bullshit happening in BC with the Musqueam decision and the bullshit from the rage baiters about how this means that Carney gave Vancouver to the Musqueam band. That didn't happen. About how we're all going to lose our houses. That's not going to happen.
Does anyone even know about like real estate? Like, we don't really own our land. Like, even if we own our homes, essentially we don't really own
We're
the
paying
land.
property taxes to the
Like,
government.
yeah, we don't really own our land. Like, we might own our homes, but like, really, we don't own our land.
You're
And
going to freak people out.
if
They're going to sound clip that and they're going to be like, you own nothing and be happy.
But I mean, it's the reality. If anyone really looks at property law in BC or Canada or wherever, you don't ever really own your land. Let's just say I didn't have any dependents and I died and there was no one for me to give my home to. My property rights end with right there, and it goes back to the province, or it goes back into the government. Like, it you don't own it forever. And you can pass it down through generations, and as long as you have dependents and people that are doing that,
and as long as you can afford the property tax on it.
Oh yeah. If you can't afford to pay the property tax, they'll come and take it away.
Which is why we're saying that it's not real. Like, when you're paying a tax on it, I think we get what we're saying. But the people who are saying we've never even heard of Musqueam before, like this came out of nowhere. That's ridiculous. Maybe it's because they're not from here, because there's a lot of Ontario people chirping about this, who aren't even from here. But two things about BC. Number one, BC mostly doesn't have treaty rights like the rest of Canada. Number two, Musqueam, if you're from BC, you know who Musqueam is. Especially if you go to the River Rock Casino, because the River Rock Casino is Musqueam. They have a golf course. They're not new. They're not new in the news. They're not new to Vancouver. And they're not coming
not
after
to Vancouver. House. I think they're around before Vancouver, right? Yeah.
Fair enough. Yes. But I believe that this we've talked before about the BC Conservative race too, because our BC Conservatives right now have an interim leader and they have a leadership race going on. I believe that the campaign is going to be who is going to be strongest against the Indigenous people. All of the people that are running for BC Conservative leader are all going really hard about vote for me. I'll repeal DRIPA. I will protect your property rights. I think that they're going to use, and I think that that's horrible. I think that you are a lot of the language that is invited with these messages that these politicians use is a lot of it contributes to stereotypes of Indigenous people. A lot of it invites harm to Indigenous people. A lot of it invites racism to Indigenous people. And I don't think any of these politicians give a shit, and that they're going to try to use it to win a conservative leadership race.
For sure. They are going to 100%. This is
Assholes.
such a, this again is just another area that they can misinform the public and kind of sway, you know, conservative votes, and you know, and it's sickening that they would use this. But I mean, it's no surprise based on what they've been doing, and even like the One BC party and all those, you know, right-wing extremists. I mean, we've seen exactly what it is that they're trying to do and what their agenda is, and this is right up their alley. This is perfect for them. This is you know, someone just gave them a nice little lob and they're gonna knock this one out of the park. They were hoping for this.
Yeah, you need to be afraid. We're going to save you. You need to be afraid that your land is going to be taken away.
100%.
Yeah.
Yep. And I had spoken before about, it depends on which way BC Conservatives voted. If they were going to pick somebody who leans a little bit more center in order to get more support instead of pulling it more to the right. But I don't see, maybe it's because I'm not familiar as much with all of the candidates, but all I'm seeing is all of them behave like that. And I think that that's terrifying. If
37 of them voted against to get rid of they voted to get rid of the human rights code in BC.
Yeah, 37.
Did we talk about that last
37 out of 50.
I'm not sure.
Yeah.
So I did a video too. If anybody follows my TikTok, I have a video showing each of the 37 MLAs that voted for this. And they're bullshitting, because when Tara Armstrong put it forward, she's the MLA out of Kelowna. When she put it forward, she said, we don't need the BC Human Rights Act because we have the criminal code. And I'm going to tell you why that's bullshit. It's bullshit because the criminal code is federal and the BC Human Rights Act is provincial, and federal is not the head office of provincial politics. It's different legislation, completely different. It addresses only the things that relate to federal legislation, like banks or airplanes. So if you're discriminated on an airline or in a bank, for sure, criminal code covers you. If the discrimination or the human rights violation happens in healthcare, education, housing, private employment, that's all provincial. So if they were successful and they were able to vote to eliminate that, there would be no human rights protections in schools, doctors' offices,
private businesses.
You will be denied housing because of your race, and there's nothing to protect you because the criminal code doesn't touch that. The criminal code says, I only touch federal shit.
Yeah. I think we did cover this last week.
I think so too.
Maybe not in as much detail though. I don't think it was pointing out where the protections were.
Yeah. But it's also accessibility. You know, people who don't have a lot of money don't need a lawyer in order to go. I mean, they should, but if they can't afford one, you know, they can get help to put in a complaint with the Human Rights Tribunal.
And I'd like to say too, if you're going to go after a politician for supporting this, go after the right politicians. I saw some people going after Eleanor Sturko, who actually voted against it. Like, it's right there. You can go on to the British Columbia legislation website. You can see what all of the votes for everything that they put forward is. You can see the names of all of the 37 MLAs who did vote to eliminate this, and then point your anger there. Don't waste it with bullshit of here's somebody who supports it who doesn't. Eleanor Sturko used to be a conservative, sits as, and I'm not a Sturko fan. I'm just saying, I don't like bullshit, and accusing somebody of supporting this, somebody who voted against it, is bullshit.
Yeah, 100%. And I mean, it's so early to say go out and vote, because really you can't. But on April 20th, you can go.
On April 20th, the petitions will be going around to recall. So there's already, and I believe Polly has information on the Maple Mines page, I think, about Wilbur Turner in Kelowna who is leading the petition against Tara Armstrong to get her recalled. Like I said, day of eligibility is April 20th. And I haven't heard anything about Dallas Brody, but I know for sure Tara Armstrong, they're going hard to get her recalled. And the 37 MLAs were all conservative and former 1BC members. They were Dallas Brody and Tara Armstrong are now independents because there is no 1BC party, and Jordan Keeley, who also sits as an independent. They were formerly in the Conservatives.
But then they have people who are going to be running with them, like that Jim McMurdy or whatever. I guess he's going to put his hat in the
Jim
ring.
McMurdy is going to run in South Delta against the guy, I can't remember his name in South Delta, but the South Delta guy also voted to get rid of BC human rights. I should move to South Delta and run.
Yeah, you should.
These guys.
Yes.
Yeah. Do it.
All right, I'm going to wrap it up on that. Actually, Rob would win. They're going to vote for a white man over a white woman. So
maybe not this one. I'm not super politically correct. Yeah, I don't know.
But you know what? Ralph Klein in Alberta won because he was not politically correct.
Yeah.
I don't know if you remember him, but yeah.
Oh yeah.
All right. I'm going to wrap it up then, and then I'm going to go have some supper. But thank you very much for participating in the 50-50. I think that was such a friendly outcome of who do you agree with. Thanks for not choosing sides and making it obvious that you like Rob so much better.
Christy's laying the way for next time.
Yeah. I'm going to find something to disagree with so that we can pose it again so that I can get a better score than I did this time with only 50.
I just like the fact that it was 50-50 and you think I still won.
Because I thought it was going to be more. Anyways, we'll be back on Friday. With updates of what's happening in the world, what's happening in Canada, what's happening in BC. Friday, 5:00 Pacific. Oh, you know what else we'll talk about on Friday? We'll talk about the time change, because I don't think I'm going to know what time it is for half the year for probably the next 20 years.
Yeah. Well, can you imagine? We're gonna hit New Year's Eve before LA does.
I'm just going to be happy because I never change my clocks backwards or forwards. I just wait for them to catch up with the. Yeah.
You are one of them.
My van clock is the wrong time right now. I'm waiting for it.
And you'll never have to change it again.
Yeah.
Just one more time, and then that's it.
My only sad thing is we are all going to lose an hour out of our lives we will never get back.
Yeah, ever.
We're never going to get it back.
Never going to get that
Never,
back.
ever.
Like, it's gone forever. That 1 hour. We're now 1 hour less in our lives than everyone else, except for anyone who was born after that time change. So anyone who's born after like March 8th or whatever, they don't ever lose the hour. But if you were ever born in the winter months, you now have 1 hour less in your life forever. Unless you move somewhere else.
Winter months? That's pretty deep, and now I'm kind of sad. Anyway, on that cheery note, the three of us who are all going to experience 1 hour less of our lives than some of our audience, thank you for joining us, and invite you to come and join us again on Friday.
Bye, everyone. Thanks for the gifts, the follows, and the shares. Have a good night.
Thank you. See ya.